All right, here's how you do lesson 402A independent practice. Here we're working with what is called one-step linear inequalities. Here's problem number one. I'm going to do something similar. So let's say I have negative 31. Let me make this a little bit thicker. Negative 31 plus x is less than or equal negative 33. The whole idea, oh, I forgot the x here. The whole idea is I need to leave this x by itself. Right now, I am subtracting 31. That's why it says minus 31. The opposite of minus 31 is to add 31. Whatever you do on one side of the inequality split the problem in two sides, left side and right side. If I added 31 on the left side, I have to add 31 on the right side. Here we go, my long line. Minus 31 plus 31, that's 0, but we cross it out. Drop the x, drop the inequality symbol. And when you use the calculator, again, minus 2. Okay, so that's the answer. However, we need to do the graph. And basically what we're going to do is I'm going to take this number line. Let's say right in the middle, I have negative 2. Everything to the right will be negative 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. To the left, that will be negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7. And then here is negative 2. When I have this less than or equal, I'm going to put a solid point on the negative 2. Solid, see? Solid. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to shade everything where are all the numbers that are smaller or equal than negative 2. So all the numbers that are smaller or equal than negative 2 are to the left. That's what this arrow is saying, that all the numbers that are smaller than negative 2 are to the left. That's why I'm going to shade everything to the left of negative 2. And basically what I'm saying with the shading part is that all the numbers that are smaller or equal than negative 2 are to the left of negative 2, including the negative 2. That's basically what you're going to do here, and that's what the graph. Your answer is the graph, not this up here, okay? So you're going to put the graph in there. That's how you do problem number one. Let's do the next problem. In problem number two, we have this inequality. Let's say I'm going to change the number. Negative 4 over 7x is less than or equal to negative 8. Okay. And basically, again, I want to leave the x by itself. If you look at the inequality symbol, the arrow, it split the problem in two sides, left side and right side. I basically want to leave the letter x by itself on the left side. How do I do that? I need to get rid of the number that is multiplying. See, the negative 4 over 7 is multiplying the x. What is the opposite of multiplying? Is dividing. So I'm going to divide all of this by negative 4 over 7. Whatever you do on one side, you must do it in the opposite side. When you divide negative 4, 7 by negative 4, 7, by the way, I'm going to show you that in the calculator. Here it is. So you're going to do, what you're going to do is you're going to click on the fraction key, and you're going to do now fraction key again. Negative 4 over 7 divided by negative 4 over 7. I hope you notice how I did that. I get 1x, but you know we do not write the 1, so we just say x. And every time you divide by a negative on both sides, this inequality symbol, okay, the inequality symbol is going to be reversed. And you only do that when you divide or multiply both sides by a negative. And that's what I did here. Okay, you're going to reverse the inequality. And then you're going to take your calculator and you're going to divide negative 8 divided. Now, since I'm dividing by a fraction, click the fraction, then negative 4 over 7. And you can see I got 14. And that's my answer. However, in Canvas, you need to do the graph. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our answer, 14, going to put it right in the middle. I'm going to write all the numbers bigger than 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. All the numbers smaller than 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. And then on the 14, I need to decide if I put an open dot or closed dot. When you have greater than, when you have one of these, less than or greater than, is open dot. When you have one of these two, less than or equal, greater than or equal, it's going to be a solid dot. So I have a greater than, so I'm going to put an open dot here. And then look what it says here. I want all the numbers bigger than 14. Where's all the numbers bigger than 14? To the right of 14. And that's what I'm shading, okay? Remember, this here means to the right of 14. So you want all the numbers, all numbers, okay, that are to the right of 14. That's what I did the picture, okay? And that's what you're doing here in the graph, okay? Something similar for this problem. Let's do the next one. In problem number 3, I did a similar one. Remember, I usually don't do the actual problem. I'm going to give you a similar one. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. Remember that the inequality split the problem in two sides, left side and right side. I hope you notice I have the letter on the right side, the Y, see? So I'm going to leave the Y by itself on the right side. How do I do that? I'm going to have to get rid of the minus 11, which means I'm subtracting 11. What is the opposite of subtracting 11? We're going to add 11. And whatever you do on one side, you do it in the opposite side. Here we go with my long line. And when you do this in the calculator, negative 15 plus 11, that will be negative 4. Drop the greater than symbol or the arrow. Negative 11 plus 11, that's 0. So this cross out and then drop the Y. And look, I got the Y by itself, which basically that's what I want, okay? So, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read this backwards. Because when I do the graph, I want the letter on the left side, not on the right side of the inequality. So I'm going to have to read this backwards. So if I read it backwards, from right to left, it's going to say Y is less than negative 4. That's when I read it backwards. And now that I see the letter on the left side, now I can do my graph. In the middle, I'm going to put negative 4. To the right side, I have the big numbers, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1. To the left, I have smaller numbers, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9. I need to put an open dot or a closed dot on the answer that I got, negative 4. Now, when you have one of these two, it's going to be open. When you have one of these two, it's going to be closed. In my case, it's going to be open or negative 4. And I want all the numbers, that's the Y, that are smaller than negative 4 or to the left of negative 4. That's what the arrow is pointing. It's pointing to the left, see? I want all numbers that are to the left of negative 4. That's basically what the inequality is saying. And that's your graph. That's what you're going to be drawing here in Canvas. All right, let's go to the next one. And problem number 4, we're doing like a word problem. Here you need to look for keywords. Here it says the keyword here, when you read this, okay, you need to read. But I already read it, but I'm going to focus on this sentence right here. Sarah's shelf can hold at most 26 books, okay? So I don't know how many books Sarah has. So that's why we're going to put X. The word at most means less than or equal. That's what this word means, at most. Okay, when you have at most, it's going to be less than or equal. That's a key word. That's something you need to going to have to remember. And then they put here 26. Okay, and now they're asking you to write that here in the box. That's all you have to do. No graph in this one. Okay, let's go to the next one. In the next one, another word problem. Okay, look for keywords, but first read the problem. Okay. It said Jasmine wants to save at least $238. See that word right there, at least? That is a key word. Okay, when you have at least, it means greater than or equal. At least $238. And this is what Jasmine wants to save. Okay, she wants to save at least. That's what this symbol means. At least $238. Okay. Now, if she say $12 each week, how many weeks does she need to save to meet or exceed her goal? Because every week she's saving $12 per week. Okay. So she's saving $12 per week. Basically, what this means is that the amount of money she's saving every week, she say 12. The next week, 12. The next week, 12. So basically, you're doing like multiplication. So all of this here that say $12 per week, how do you write it algebraically? You're gonna write it like 12x. That's what it means, $12 per week. Okay? And then they're asking you to solve this inequality. And the way you're gonna solve this inequality, let me erase this, is you wanna leave the letter x by itself. Okay, you want to leave the letter x by itself. How do you do that? You want to get rid of the 12. The 12 is multiplying. What's the opposite of multiplying by 12? You're going to divide by 12. Okay, 12x divided by 12 is going to be x. Drop the greater than or equal, and then take your calculator, and you're going to do 238 divided by 12. And you can see you're going to get a decimal. Let me make sure that I put 238. Let me see, did I write the number correctly? I'm just checking that yep. So how much she needs to save? She needs to save around, let me see. She needs to save around $19.83 every week. Okay, so she can reach her goal of saving $238 or go beyond that goal, saving that amount of money. Okay, so $19.83. Let's go to the next one. And problem number, I believe this is 6. Okay, they ask us to solve this inequality. Your goal is to leave the letter x on one side of the inequality. This arrow is called inequality. The inequality split the problem in two sides, left side and right side. Okay. And basically, I want to get rid of the 13 that is multiplying. So what is the opposite of multiply by 13? I'm going to divide by 13. Whatever you do on one side, you do it in the other. 13x divided by 13 is 1x, but we do not write the 1. So we just say x, drop the less than. You put this in the calculator, you're going to get a decimal. So just leave it like a fraction. Okay? And that's how you do problem number 6. Again, I did a similar one. Let's go to the next one. And problem number 7. Okay? I did a similar one again. This whole idea is solving for x. Leave the letter x by itself. I want this x by itself on the left side of the inequality symbol, the arrow. So the arrow split the problem in two sides, left side and right side. I want the x by itself, so I want to get rid of -10, that is multiplying. What's the opposite of multiplying by -10? Oh, it's to divide by -10. Whatever you do in one side, you do it in the other. Now, careful here, because when you divide by a negative, and I hope you notice I divided by a negative number here, what's going to happen is the inequality symbol, the arrow, is going to flip. Okay? Flip the arrow. Every time you divide or multiply both sides of the inequality by a negative number. Okay, so I flip it, invert it. -10x divided by -10 is 1x, but we just say x. And when you put this fraction in the calculator, which I'm going to show you right now. So when I do -7 divided by -10, I get a decimal, no decimal. Look what I get. I get +7/10. So that's what I'm going to put here. And that's how you do that problem. No need to do the graph here. It's just writing the answer like I did up here. Okay, let's go to the last one. So problem number 8, the last one of this assignment. We're doing the same thing. I want to leave the variable by itself. So here is the inequality symbol. Here's the left side. Here's the right side. And basically, I want to leave the letter y by itself. So what I need to do, I need to get rid of the 1 over 4 that is multiplying. What's the opposite of multiplying by 1/4? Oh, I'm going to divide by 1/4. Whatever you do in one side, you do it in the other. And then every time you divide by the same number, you get really 1. So this is really 1y, but I'm not going to write 1. I'm going to just say y. Now, I did not divide by a negative. That's why I'm not flipping the arrow here. And then take your calculator and divide 7 divided by, now I'm dividing by a fraction. So click the fraction key, 1 over 4. And you can see you get 28. And again, I don't need to do any graph here. Okay, it's just writing my answer like I just did there. And that's it. That's how you do this independent practice.